Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Fellowship of Nanaimo. Our mission is to create spiritual connection and bring compassion, discovery, and social justice to life. My name is Catherine Hazel and I am your service leader this morning. My pronouns are she, her. Could you please take a moment now to silence or turn off your cell phones? Thank you. Let's say hello to everyone attending on Zoom. Point to the frog and wave so that they can see us. Whatever your hopes, dreams, and aspirations, whatever your race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, gender, identity, whatever makes you who you are warmly welcome here. In keeping with our Unitarian Universalist aspiration of radical inclusion, we invite you to share your pronouns as well as your name if you are comfortable doing so. We have a diversity of voices on Sunday mornings, so our services vary from week to week. They usually run from 60 to 75 minutes. If this is your first time with us, a very special welcome to you. And are there any people here today celebrating birthdays in October? Yeah, okay. If you are, raise your hand, and you've already done that, and join us in this birthday song.
Happy birthday, we love you. Happy birthday, and may all your dreams come true. When you blow out the candles, one light stays aglow. It's the love light in your heart wherever you go.
That was a new tradition we just decided to start this month. If you are joining us online, please consider sharing your contact information with us. You can do this by going to the chat icon at the bottom of your screen and typing it in there. We'd love to welcome you to our community. Our website, ufon.ca, has more detailed information about who we are, the services we offer, and how you can connect with us. We acknowledge today that we meet on the traditional territory of the Snuneymuxw First Nation. As Unitarians, we are committed to the work of reconciliation required to address the harm done to all Indigenous peoples and their cultures by non-Indigenous peoples. We have much to learn from the Indigenous perspective that the earth is the source of all life and that it is our responsibility to honor and care for it. We're all excited to have a new minister, especially after seeing her live on screen at our annual general meeting last week, and are eager to meet her in person come November. We want to make sure her transition to ministry with us is as smooth and as stress-free as possible. So to help with that, a transitions team made up of Tony Turner, John Sewer, and Debbie Goodman has been set up. To make sure that Reverend Ashley isn't overwhelmed with a tsunami of emails, we are asking that you direct all requests to her via the transitions team at transitions@ufon.ca. And if you'd like to work on a committee with Reverend Ashley, how about joining the Sunday Services Committee? You don't have to be a service organizer, but you can help by taking minutes or doing the pre-service setup on Sunday mornings. In return, you'll meet the wonderful team that puts together our services and find out what goes on behind the scenes of our Sunday morning productions, which Tony and I have decided we're going to call UFON Productions. If you're interested, please contact us at sundayservices@ufon.ca. And now I'd like to call on Brenda for a board announcement.
Hi, for those of you who have not yet read your Facebook pages for UFON, I'm pleased to announce that I have agreed to be chair for this board year. Thank you for that. And we have a new member here on our board. We have Sage Dendoff, and we have, but here they are not. And we have the member that was elected at our board retreat yesterday, Sue de Ballenhard. And the third new member is Taylor Sinclair, who is not here today. So at any rate, we welcome everybody, and we have continuing, of course, Larry, our treasurer, and Lois, our secretary. Thank you.
There's the photo. Yes. Oh, yeah. It was up. Yeah. Yeah. To find out about all the special events, groups, and meetings taking place in the fellowship, either go to the calendar on our website or read the weekly update email sent to you on Fridays. Our speaker today is the Reverend Debra Faulk, who is part of our ministry team and has been a great support and inspiration to us in the past few years. She is a lifelong Unitarian, the co-president of the Canadian Unitarian Council, and a passionate gardener. She lives in Victoria, where she joins us. And now we'll have the prelude. Let us now enter into sacred time. Leah Hokinson, our music director, and our choir, the fabulous Foophonics, will lead us into worship through music.
Good morning, everyone. This beautiful song was requested by Deborah and by Reverend Debra. Sorry. It's I Am Willing by Holly Near, and I'm going to sing the first chorus and the verses, and I invite you to join in and sing the choruses with me. I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change. There is hurting in my family, there is sorrow in my town, there is panic in the nation, there is wailing the whole world around. Please join me. I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change. May the children see more clearly, may the elders be more wise, may the winds of change caress us, even though it burns our eyes. But I am open and I a mighty oak to hold my confusion. Give me a desert to hold my fears. Give me a sunset to hold my wonder. Give me an ocean to hold my tears. I am open. I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change.
Wow. I hope you appreciate what a great gift you have with your music director. And the willingness of everyone to raise their voices together. It is a beautiful thing, a beautiful and awesome thing. I might get verklempt a few times this morning. As we gather, I breathe in the warmth of this light, its glow filling the spaces where fear and doubt reside. I breathe out the tension I carry. I release what no longer serves me. I breathe in the strength of our community, a sanctuary of diverse voices and shared purpose. I breathe out the urge to go it alone. I embrace the power of togetherness. I breathe in the courage to speak truth even when it trembles on my lips. I breathe out the silence that holds me back. I make space for honesty and justice. I breathe in the hope of transformation, knowing we are here to build and to heal. I breathe out despair, trusting that change is born in small acts of love. As we light this chalice, may we each breathe, and may each breath remind us of the sacred rhythm of life, the pulse of creation, and the power we hold to shape the world around us. And I invite us to rise in body or in spirit as we join our voices again in singing our opening song, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In.
Enter, rejoice, and come in.
we take a time in our services to have a time for all ages, knowing that children and many generations will join us as we go forward. This morning, I am going to do a slightly edited version of The Dream Tree by Stephen Cosgrove. This is part of the Serendipity book of children's books that I really highly recommend. This is the story about, this is my little caterpillar, Patty the caterpillar. Now, have you ever stood at the edge of a grove and saw a big tree and wondered who just might be living on it? There might be ants and spiders, and bugs, and maybe a little Patty. For sure, a little Patty caterpillar. One day, Patty was up in her tree, scurrying along the branches, giggling because when you scurry along a branch, it tickles your belly. And she came upon, at the very edge, a white cocoon. Now, she didn't really know what a cocoon was. She was very curious because, indeed, along with being a little mischievous, she was also incredibly curious. And so she was going to scoot home to ask her mom just what this thing was. And as she was on her way back to see her mom, she saw a most beautiful butterfly. She stopped and paused and looked up at the butterfly, wondering about its magnificence. And she shouted out, "Butterfly, how does it feel to fly?" But the butterfly just floated off, and she muttered, "Oh, just what a stuck-up butterfly that is," and wandered home, sat with her mom and said, "Mom, I saw this thing at the edge of one of the branches, a white cocoon. What is it?" And so her mom began what I guess is the caterpillar version of the birds and bees story about how when she knew it was the right time, she too would spin a cocoon. She would enter into that cocoon, and there she would be transformed into a butterfly. No way! Me transformed into a butterfly? How is that possible? And then she got curious about something else and scooted off and got out on a branch and saw a butterfly again and called up to the butterfly, "Yo, butterfly, what is it like to be a butterfly?" But the butterfly didn't respond. It floated away, but on a breeze, she heard the butterfly say, "Someday you'll know. Someday you will know." And so it was that Patty went about her life, being curious, eating many, many leaves, tickling her belly as she wandered along branches, and then one day, her little antenna started to shake and jiggle, and she somehow knew that it was her time. And she said, "I am going to go and spin my cocoon now, and I will come back and tell the other little caterpillars what it is like to be a butterfly." And so she entered into her cocoon. She went through the transformation, and after a while, she felt different. She felt that she was now a butterfly, and sure enough, she spread her wings, and as the breeze carried her up and away, she was so elated with how she was feeling. And there, a little speck below her, was a tiny caterpillar shouting out, "How is it? What is it like to be a butterfly?" And all she could say is, "One day you'll know. One day you'll know." We all transform in many ways. May we be like a butterfly, following our curiosity. Our time for all ages today. Don't
As a spiritual community, it is our intention to be authentically present to one another, especially in these difficult times. One way we do this is by taking time in the service to listen to the significant personal milestones in our lives. If you have had such a milestone and wish to share it, now is the time to do so. We'll begin with those of you in the hall, and then we'll invite those attending via Zoom. And we've changed the routine a little bit, as always. And so you can come up to the mic and you can take your pebble right from here and say what you want to say. As I place the final pebble in the water bowl for the joys and concerns that have been left unspoken, I ask that you hold in your heart everything that you have heard and felt.
We share in love, we listen in love, we hold one another in love. Each joy and concern we witness and learn and grow together in love. And grow together in love.
May all that has been shared here strengthen and renew the bonds of this beloved community. In joy and in sorrow, in struggle and in success, may we together embrace life's blessings and withstand its challenges in the sacred hope that we might grow stronger through both. For all that has been spoken and all amongst us yet unsaid, may we hold a moment's silence to witness, reflect, and be grateful for each other. This gratitude gives a voice to say the wordless things that lie at the heart of our being, to speak the pulsations of life, the rising, shimmering sun, the silent cycles of seasons, the restless tides of breath, the interlaced fabric of community, the interdependence of humanity. We need a voice to say yes to life in its sameness and in its variety, in its simplicity and complexity, in its joy and its grief, in its agony and its ecstasy, in its ever-changing process. We need to hear that voice within.
We will now have some readings by William Ellery Channing and from Ovid's Metamorphoses. William Ellery Channing resisted being labeled anything, though he finally embraced Unitarian, often believed to be a derogatory term in his day, and took an important leadership role as minister in Boston from 1803 to 1842. He was a forefather of the Unitarian movement, delivering the landmark statement of Unitarian principles in a sermon made in 1819. He waxed eloquently in making this statement, as was the practice then, speaking more than an hour. But for this morning, we'll have just a few of his words. In giving of myself as I have done to long and patient inquiry into the subject of religion, I have found cause to change my views in particular subjects. And I think of this with pleasure, for had no change taken place, had I adhered perniciously to all my earlier opinions, I should have great reason to believe that I had not used my mind freely and fairly. We all start with errors, and it is a bad omen if they be not detected. I do not find, however, that the freest investigation has in any degree shaken my trust in the great spiritual principles of religion. On the contrary, it is confirmed. And then from Ovid's Metamorphoses, Book 15, from the Doctrines of Pythagoras. In all creation, nothing endures, all is in endless flux. Each wandering shape a pilgrim passing by, and time itself glides on in ceaseless flow, a rolling stream, and streams can never stay, nor lightfoot hours. As wave is driven by wave, and each, pursued, pursues the wave ahead, so time flies on and follows, always, forever new. What was before is left behind, what never was is now, and every passing moment is renewed.
Please rise in body or in spirit, and we will sing together For the Beauty of the Earth.
It's often been said that only death and taxes are certain. I would add to this list change. Everything is in a constant state of change. Some of this can be natural, evolution, a flow. Change sometimes is invited and intentional, sometimes resisted and denied. We can embrace it, resist it, deny it, ignore it, or celebrate it, and still change will occur. So how does our Unitarian Universalist faith enable us to embrace our own change, personal and institutional, support others through difficult changes, and empower us to be agents of change? Big questions to address in one morning. People change. Nature changes. The store clerk gives us changes. Plans change. And congregations change. Change is natural and normal. Actually, the only real constant in life, I think, is change. Yet resistance to change is just as natural and normal as its acceptance. Change permeates everything we do and are. The absence of change is not inaction. It is entropy. Change is an inevitable consequence of evolution. The most constant and unvarying truth about our universe is, as Heraclitus, ancient philosopher, said long ago, the fact of change. Everything is in flux, he affirmed. We know that nothing has or ever will happen, whether small or large in the scale of things, without change. And change is a recognized cause of stress at every stage of life. We fear change as a species, and this very fear is itself a symptom of stress. I know for myself that the periods of extreme and rapid change, the most stressful times in my life, inevitably have growth or at least deepening as a consequence. Yes, another growth experience. Then there are times when change is forced upon us. While we may intellectually agree to embrace change, when it happens to us unbidden, we will resent it, or we may resent it. When a loved one dies, personal calamity strikes, when terrorism occurs in our own backyard, we will resist. Yet once endured and lived through, once we emerge through those times, we recognize the transforming fires of painful change often bring a deepening of self, of understanding, of wisdom. And yet still, I will resist change, struggle for a sense of control, as if I could change the natural flow of the universe, like I could control that. This psychology of resistance is required in dealing with uncertainty and fear, even panic. Erica Jong said, "I have not ceased being fearful, but I have ceased to let fear control me. I have accepted fear as part of my life, specifically fear of change, the fear of the unknown, and I have gone ahead despite the pounding in my heart that says, turn back, turn back." Like the caterpillar who must weave its cocoon and transform, we are propelled forward in our lives, facing change, invited and imposed, moving through the fear of it on some occasions and inspired by the possibility at other times. Imagine a seedling poking its head out of the familiar dark earth into the bright warm sunshine, resisting, attempting to turn back. We are no different individually or as a group. Is it possible to be more intentional about change and thereby minimizing the fear and stress and instead inviting possibility? We can be intentional in the change, welcome and befriend it, The more spontaneous, involuntary response, though, is rejection and resistance, which can significantly deplete our energy. Just as in nature we witness the change of seasons, in ourselves and each other we experience the cycles of life, of change and growth. Every day I seem to have more gray hairs, or as my son graciously put it, platinum hairs, which I choose to interpret as markers of wisdom. Children grow at an amazing rate, for growth is an aspect of change, natural evolution and the flow of life. Everything is in a constant state of growth, from what it was to what it shall yet be. And this aging is a lifelong process of adjustment to change. I'm feeling it more and more in my 70s. The people who age best are those who are granted serenity, as the famous prayer puts it, the serenity to accept the things they cannot change, the courage to change the things they can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Getting older is one of those things that cannot be changed. Gradually, age reminds us that we can't do all the things we used to do. Age forces us to redefine ourselves in terms of what we can do. Age forces us to redefine ourselves. And it is through an art. It is an art to be able to grow through the losses and accept the process without giving in to a spirit of decline. Aging is a process of growth, not of decline. I admire people who age well more than I do those who remain youthful. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference, for both appear vital and alert, but one avoids the realities of the autumn season of life by pretending that it's still summer, while the others enjoy the brilliant colors. A timely quote from my colleague, Sarah Campbell, and so appropriate at this time of year. I've been reflecting on my time here with the Nanaimo Unitarian Fellowship, for it has really been a part of the change in my own life, of retirement, or at least a shift to doing mostly the parts of parish ministry that feed me, as well as responding to my own calling to be in service. Our relationship began because of one of those unexpected changes when your past minister, the Reverend D. Thorne, had to depart earlier than planned in the transition time because of medical concerns. That was almost 3 years ago. You graciously invited me to enjoy the brilliant colors of parish ministry and retirement, gave me the opportunity to gradually let go or transform who I am as a minister as I supported your transformation to what will be next. And I want to lift up how amazing I think this congregation is, having now been part of it in a significant, though somewhat peripheral relationship for these last almost 3 years. I have seen you embrace change, mostly. Often there's resistance along with the embrace. When the shift in professional ministry happened, you have been willing to explore new opportunities and potentials. I'm not sure if you recognize how significant the adaptation that you have done has been. First of all, you have made sure that there was professional ministry present, albeit very part-time. This past year, in my co-ministry with Reilly, a candidate for ministry, the two of us working collaboratively, you have demonstrated a maturation of a congregation that is interested in supporting and training new ministerial leadership. This is no small thing. And then the next transition, this exciting time of welcoming a new minister, Reverend Ashley, who will join you at the end of November. We have done this relationally. Reilly and I in communication with her, along with the search team and now the transition team. This is really stepping outside of the box of how ministry is usually engaged. In these last 3 years, I have worked through a few conflicts and losses, and always relationship, compassion, and caring were at the heart. You recognize the limits of the capacity with running the shelter, and you found a way to sustain it, dealt with the unexpected departure of a tenant, and pivoted. You have maximized the rentals of this building to reflect your values, as well as providing significant resources of all kinds for this and the broader community. You are amazing. And I have been changed and enriched by our relationship. Yes, change is inevitable. We can invite it, embrace it. This requires discernment and intention. To invite change and the discernment this requires is, I feel, a spiritual activity, a spiritual practice. I say this because it demands that we be willing to go deep, to search for meaning, and for the willingness to transform. It is oftentimes, though, the other way around. Our questing for the answers, the asking the big questions in life is often initiated by dramatic change, by some kind of crisis. It's often a crisis or challenge in life that has us seek out a community to engage in this spiritual practice of the search for meaning and transformation. Crossing the bridge to a better world begins with crossing the bridge inside of ourselves, in our minds, from addictive patterns of fear and resisting change and the unknown to the possibility of embracing the potential of the unknown, including the enlightened perceptions held by this faith of unity and love. We're in the habit of thinking fearfully and resisting change, and it takes spiritual discipline to turn that around in a world where love is more suspect than fear. As human beings going through the ever-changing process of living our lives, the transformations and challenges, the joys and sorrows, in all this we seek to make meaning and answer the big questions of life, and that have to do with purpose. I believe the reason that we search for religious community, essentially all have to do with meaning-making and meaning-seeking. Research shows that people often seek out religious community because of a crisis or a dramatic life change. In our principles, we articulate this seeking and changing, questioning and confronting. Ours is not a static religion. It flourishes on change, and yet we all witness the resistance to it. This congregation is in the midst of change. It has been a bit of a journey these last few years, a transition with the next evolution, new ministry, right there on the horizon. It will be a time of adjustment, and I would venture to say a time of growth. Not just numerical, though I do think that that is a probability, but growth in depth of programming, in enhancing of communication, in deepening pastoral care, and in deepening the possibility for connection among us and with the wider community and the world. We cannot anticipate all the changes that may occur, though some we can prepare for, nor can we foresee the consequence of change and growth, though we can intentionally embrace it. Can we change the world? I honestly believe that we can. We may not see it in our own lifetime, yet our influence can permeate the fabric of existence. This is a grand and elusive notion, Some of you may well be sitting there going, who the heck does she think she is? Who does she think we are? My statement goes beyond me. And when I say we can change the world, I'm very serious. I'm not floating in an idealistic cloud in La La Land. The only way for the kind of change that must occur on this planet to happen will be from the grassroots. It will be each and every one of us as we are willing and open to engage in the spiritual practice of embracing change. As we look into each other's eyes, respecting ourselves and the planet by our action, as we model our values to the world at large, as we become agents of change, as we are willing to step into that not always comfortable place of enacting our principles and welcoming the discomfort of change, we will be agents of that change. It is time we acknowledge ourselves and each other for that which we do that supports this positive change in the world. Celebrate change. Pauline Keiser said, continuity gives us roots, change gives us branches, letting us stretch and grow and reach new heights. So holding tight to the roots of our Unitarian Universalist principles, our sources, aspirations, and heritage, to the history of what we have been until now as a congregation, let us embrace change. I have a vision of this congregation changed and transformed. This does not imply that there is something wrong with what we are now. Rather, that we intend to invite change, delight in the possible, contribute more fully to the good in the world and to others, each other, and ourselves. We recognize the need for social change, and here among these fellow pilgrims of a free faith, bound by common concern and values, we find strength to be intentional agents of change and transformation. We encourage spiritual discernment within ourselves and with each other. We are a gathering of people who combine our resources to influence change, encouraging growth and support of each other through whatever changes life may bring. For what we are now and what we shall be, I am deeply thankful. Blessed be.
Thank you, Reverend Debra.
We will now have our offering. If you're in the hall, Charlotte Joyner and Sharon Bolt will now pass the baskets for the collection. If this is your first time with us, your presence is your contribution. Those online can go to our website and click the big blue donate button on the homepage and follow the instructions to donate via e-transfer or check. And for those of you who don't carry cash, we now accept your donations via debit or credit cards. This can be done at our welcoming table near the entry doors after the service. To help the wider community, half of all anonymous donations received are donated to the designated charity of the month. Our charity for this month is the Nanaimo Unitarian Shelter, now operated by the Nanaimo Family Life Association. Since 2008, the shelter has provided a warm refuge, non-judgmental welcome, and hot meals for people experiencing homelessness, including those struggling with poverty, mental illness and addictions, seniors, and people with disabilities. If you are making a donation and wish your donation to go to this charity, please indicate Nanaimo Unitarian Shelter on your e-transfer or check. We are grateful for your offering.
Together we share.
Changes abound around us, within us, between us, in our communities, our neighborhoods, and our beloved faith communities. Changes abound. May we each find the balance point we need as we move through our ever-changing world. The balance between old and new, between the known and the unknown, between the familiar and perhaps bold and risky possibilities that just may be there waiting. Let us join our voices again in singing our closing song, The Fire of Commitment, that speaks to the grounding of this faith. Please rise in body or in spirit.
We are almost at the end of, no, wait a minute, it's extinguishing the chalice, isn't it? Oh. Okay, I've got the order all wrong, but that's okay. We are almost at the end of our service. After we sing Carry the Flame, you can join a social group both online and in person. Breakout rooms will be available online for 30 minutes. We will have snacks and social time in the hall after the service. I want to thank the many people who have given their time and energy to make today's service so wonderful. The Sunday Services Committee, the audio-visual team, Leah, the fabulous Foophonics, not that I'm biased, the greeters and offering collectors, those at the welcoming table, the kitchen volunteers who come early and stay late for cleanup, and those who brought food and flowers. And we have a special thank you to someone very dear to us all, Reverend Debra. Tony, could you please come forward and say a few words?
Thanks, KJ. Deborah, would you just step up here? Deborah, as this is your last service with us, you officially preaching with us, we would like to acknowledge all you have done for us in recent years. First, I want to tell people out there who don't know that Deborah and I have known each other for about 20 years. Deborah was the intern minister at the First Unitarian Congregation of Ottawa when I first met her, and that was the position that Reilly is occupying with our fellowship right now. So things do change over time. These past 3 years with our fellowship, you've helped us navigate through a period without a settled minister. Your knowledge, experience, and wisdom has brought stability and professional ministry above and beyond preaching on Sunday. You have encouraged us to make decisions from a position of great abundance. You have often reminded us you've reminded us very often how well our fellowship is doing, and you have brought our attention to ideas that you've seen work elsewhere. You have taught us ways to share work and share leadership as you do yourself with the CUC. You often have linked our work here in Nanaimo to the national and international context. You have attended countless meetings with the Sunday Services Committee, the board, and others, and you have endured the dreaded Malahat as you commute from Victoria to be with us on Sundays and boards, meetings, and retreats. There are many things that, and there are many other things that you will continue to do with us as a wise elder among us, including being a mentor to our budding ministers such as Reilly Yeo, so she will one day herself be a wise Unitarian elder. For all of this and more, our fellowship is deeply grateful and offers you a small token of thanks that you can use to buy an item that will enhance your Victoria garden, make it compete with that magnificent rhododendron garden that you back onto. And we thank you so much. Thank you, Deborah.
I think it's been clear that I love you all. And I thank you. I thank you for this time. And now let us extinguish the chalice.
You see why I was flummoxed. Oh, right. I guess we'll have to do it the old-fashioned way and just blow it out. And now we will sing our final song, Carry the Flame. The words are on both the back and side walls. Please stand as you are able and hold hands or touch elbows as you feel comfortable.